You ready?
Yeah.
That was very believable. Let's get started. So first of all, you can see we cut up the carpet into strips. It was much easier to pull it all up, roll it up, took it out, as well as the underlayment. We also, after this, you want to sweep up really well all the dust and dirt. And I also proceeded to pull up the tack strips and any remaining tacks. You don't want any of that left behind, which left us with that. But I continue because there isn't going back now, which then I proceed to lay down the moisture barriers. You want to overlap the edges and the strips and also go up the side of the walls a little bit. You want it to run across the joist, the floor joist, which I thought was the same direction as the rest of the house, but since this was an add-on, it did not. And when my husband got home, he proceeded to tell me. So in the next picture or two, you'll see when he joins me that they are actually running in the opposite direction. And the reason for that is you want the flooring to run across the floor joist, not with it, because then the flooring will start to sag. As you can see here, we're also now putting down the quiet walk, which you need to butt up next to each other, the strips, and tape them to each other. These also kind of go up the side of the walls a little bit. The ends of the strips do, just like the moisture barrier does, but not as much as the moisture barrier. And that way, God forbid something happen, you have a little protection in it going into the walls, a little bit of something. It doesn't necessarily stop it completely. The floor then can be brought in to acclimate to the temperature and the humidity and everything. And because as we all know, flooring expands and recedes. What you see me doing here is pulling from different pallets, trying to do like a dry run, I guess you could say, because all the pallets are not the exact same. They have different colorings to them, different shades, and you don't want it to just pull from the first palette and just go straight down through the whole palette and continue to the next and the next. Otherwise, it's not going to flow right. The first strip is nailed down directly. Yes, these are all nailed down boards. There is no glue down with this floor, and we wanted it to be as natural as the rest in the house because those are still the original hardwood floors from the 50s. That's why we have the small pieces here as well. I will say this was our least favorite part, and our backs and our knees reminded us that we are not as young and sprightly as we thought we were. This part probably took us about a day and a half. I say, I'm probably lying on that part. It's probably 2 days, and I just want to act like we are superheroes and we accomplished it in a day and a half, which wasn't true. Once that was all down, next part, fun part, the sanding came in. We went through so many pieces of sandpaper strips, but you want it to be as smooth as butter, because if not, your sealant and your finish will not feel really well. They'll be kind of bumpy, or I shouldn't say bumpy, but kind of sandy, I guess you could say. You can feel all the edges and everything. And this took us a couple days as well. I wanted to use the Bana Natural Seal as the color, which is the second to lightest color they offer. And the finish we used was a high traffic finish because we have dogs and cats, and we put our floors through the ringer. First things first, when you put down the sealant, you're going to use the little square thing I was showing you just a second ago, which is basically in Home Depot or Lowe's with the rollers and everything. When you lay it directly down, that was another thing I loved about this stuff, is you can pour it straight on the floor. You fan out, you don't directly roll. We had I guess you could say a makeshift rubber band holder on the roller, so it didn't roll, it actually just pushed. And we pulled back and you feather forward, so that way you don't have any definite spots or strips or that it looked like it was stopped as it rolled. This, as you can see, the roller, closer look, it is not rolling, it is just pulling. And that's what you want. And as you see, as my husband was rolling along, you see how you don't want to leave any marks in the flooring. You want to make sure you don't leave any spots, any little extra of the sealant, or the finish, I guess I should say, sealant too, because it will show. This was when it was dry, this was a before and after. Ta-da! You see how there's a slight slight shine? I mean, that's what we wanted. We didn't want a high shine on our floor. I think they turned out exactly like we wanted. We've had them for 2 years now, and I will show you, these are now how the floors look 2 years later with 2 dogs and 2 cats. All Alright guys, you know what to do now. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more home projects we're going to do in the future. See you later.
You want it.